Okay, so get this. Imagine, right? You're just there, scrolls on your phone, and boom, you stumble onto something that could help you catch cancer early.
Yeah, sounds crazy.
Totally. But that's what's so fascinating about what we're diving into today. Teledermatology.
It's amazing to see how technology is changing everything, even healthcare. And when it comes to cancer, early detection is, well, it's everything.
It really is. And, a recent campaign really caught our eye. It's all about this very thing. So, the Charles SLBG Foundation, they teamed up with First Derm. You might have heard of them. It's an online platform. And they offered free skin cancer screenings.
It's a great example of trying to reach as many people as possible.
Right. With a really simple message, early detection can save your life.
And honestly, the results are pretty incredible. They were able to screen over 3,000 people.
That's a lot. Think about that. Over 3,000 people.
And get this, they found 43 potential cases of melanoma, all through a smartphone.
43. See, that's exactly why this is so powerful.
Oh.
So you mentioned the Charles SLBG Foundation. There's a story there, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The foundation, it was actually set up in memory of Charles. He passed away from late-stage melanoma.
Oh, wow.
It's a stark reminder of how important it is to catch this type of cancer early.
It's heartbreaking, but it makes you realize how much of a game changer this kind of technology could be. So tell me, how does this First Derm platform even work? You just go online.
Yeah, it's all online. They've got a smartphone app,
Yeah.
or you can use their website. What's really wild is the age range of the people they've reached. I mean, we're talking newborns like a few days old all the way up to people in their 90s.
From 3 days old to 93 years old, that's seriously impressive. Talk about reaching everyone. Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts of the campaign itself. How long did it run for, and what did it cost to reach all those people?
Okay, so the whole thing ran for 30 months. That's February 2022 to August 2024. And are you ready for this? The total cost was only £50,000.
50,000 pounds. To potentially save 43 lives. That's, talk about impact. Especially when you think about how expensive treating advanced melanoma can be. So, walk me through this. How did they actually use this platform to do the screenings?
Oh, it's pretty simple, actually. Say you're worried about a mole.
Right.
You just take a couple of pictures on your phone, one up close, get all the details, and then another one a bit further back, just to show how it looks on your skin.
Okay, makes sense.
And then you answer a few questions about it, like when you first noticed it, if it's changed at all, that kind of thing, all through the app.
So you basically just hit send and then cross your fingers.
Basically, you send it all off to a dermatologist through the app. And this is the cool part. They guarantee a response within 24 hours.
Wow, 24 hours. That's incredible, especially these days when it feels like you wait forever to see a doctor.
Tell me about it. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But how did they actually, assess it just from a photo? What are they looking at?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
So dermatologists, they're trained to pick up on all these little visual cues things that tell them if a mole or a lesion is harmless or, something to worry about.
Like what?
So they look at things like asymmetry. If it's an odd shape, irregular borders, different colors within the mole, even if it's changed over time. Plus, the app asks about your symptoms too, so they get a more complete picture.
So it's like having a dermatologist in your pocket. Sort of.
Right. At least for that initial check.
So then what happens? You get your assessment, then what?
Well, the dermatologist will give you their best guess at a diagnosis and then tell you what to do next.
Oh.
Sometimes, good news, you're totally fine, don't worry about it, saves you a trip to the doctor.
Oh, that's the best feeling.
I know, right?
Like,
But if something seems off, they'll tell you to see a doctor in person. To get it checked out properly, maybe get a biopsy. Better safe than sorry, especially with something like skin cancer.
absolutely. Early detection is key. And speaking of catching things early, I noticed the report mentioned the campaign found a bunch of other skin conditions too, not just melanoma. Anything interesting?
Oh yeah, definitely. They found a surprising amount of seborrheic keratosis people get that mixed up with something more serious a lot, even though it's totally harmless.
Seborrheic what now? For those of us who don't speak fluent skin condition, what is that?
Okay, so those waxy-looking bumps kind of raised up? They can be brown, black, even skin-colored.
Yeah, I think I've seen those.
They're actually really common as you get older, but people freak out thinking it's cancer. But the good news is, First Derm was able to reassure a lot of people that it was nothing to worry about.
See, that's awesome. Avoiding unnecessary stress is a win in my book.
100%. And then there were cases of atypical nevus. So those are moles that look a bit irregular. They might become cancerous down the line, but not necessarily a problem right away.
Got it. So something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, exactly. Like a heads up to watch them. And if they change, you catch it early. That's where those regular self-exams and photos come in handy.
Smart. And speaking of, I did want to ask, the report mentioned the campaign did more than just the screenings. They actually tried to raise awareness about skin cancer more broadly. How'd they do that?
Well, they got clever with their timing. They knew that May is Melanoma Awareness Month, so they made sure to get a lot of press coverage then. They ended up in some pretty big publications. Great way to get the word out.
Love it. Work smarter, not harder, right? Okay, so we've talked a lot about the positives, which are amazing, but we should also, acknowledge the limitations. Nothing's perfect, right? Did the report talk about any challenges or downsides at all?
They did, yeah. One thing they pointed out was the lack of in-person follow-up
Yeah.
because ultimately they were relying on people to, actually go to the doctor if the app said something might be up.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we know they flagged those 43 potential melanomas, but did those people actually get it checked out by a doctor in person? We don't know that. It's true. So the technology is amazing for that first step, that initial screening. But to actually get diagnosed and treated, there's still that human element.
Yeah, for sure. And that kind of ties into another thing they mentioned, image quality.
Ah, yeah, good point.
Like smartphone cameras are amazing these days, but there's always that chance the picture's blurry or the lighting's bad, and that could affect the diagnosis, right?
Absolutely. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder, how reliable is teledermatology, really, compared to just, going to the doctor's office?
It's a good question, and I think some people might be hesitant to trust an app with something as serious as this.
Right. Your health is important.
Yeah, totally. And the report actually addressed this. They were very clear that, teledermatology, it's not meant to replace actually seeing a doctor, at least not at this point. They see it more as a tool for early detection,
Yeah.
so it can quickly flag potential problems
Yeah.
and get people moving in the right direction,
Mhm.
But if there are any worries or if that initial assessment is this doesn't look right, then yeah, you need that in-person exam, a doctor's expertise. You can't replace that.
So it's more like a really efficient triage system, like in your pocket. It can tell you what needs urgent attention.
Yes, exactly. It's about using technology to make healthcare more accessible, to speed things up, especially that early detection part. But knowing its limits and not forgetting about, the traditional ways of doing things.
It really feels like a glimpse into the future of healthcare. So I'm curious, from what you've seen, what other big changes could this tech bring about?
Oh man, the possibilities are huge. Just imagine. You could talk to a specialist wherever you are, right? Doesn't matter where you live.
It's true.
That could be life-changing, especially for people who don't have easy access to specialists, like in rural areas or places where healthcare isn't so great.
Yeah, it kind of levels the playing field a bit. Everyone deserves good healthcare.
Right.
And it's so convenient, right?
Right.
It's like having a virtual doctor's office on your phone. But with all new technology, there are always downsides. What are some things we need to watch out for as this becomes more common?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is digital literacy. Not everyone's comfortable with smartphones and apps, right? Especially when it comes to something as personal as their health. There's a learning curve there for some people. We need to make sure everyone's included.
That's a great point. Accessibility for everyone. And then, of course, there's data privacy. That's a big one. Are we sharing too much? Is it safe?
100%. That's huge. Making sure people's medical data is kept safe and secure, that's crucial. It's something patients should be asking about, being informed.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I think that's about all the time we have for today. But before we go, I want to leave everyone with something to think about. We've talked a lot about how teledermatology, this kind of tech, could change healthcare, which is really exciting.
Mhm.
But like with any powerful tool, you need to use it responsibly, right? So here's my question for everyone listening. As we move into this new world, this tech-driven future of healthcare, how do we hold on to that human element? How do we balance these amazing advances with the things that make us human empathy, connection, that personal touch?
It's a really important question. Technology can do so much, but that human connection, that will always be essential.
Couldn't have said it better myself. A big thank you to the Charles SLBG Foundation for this eye-opening report. And to all of you listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of teledermatology and the future of healthcare. Until next time, stay curious.